Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Melissa. How are y'all doing today? Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I talk about missing children on my YouTube channel. So today I have a new case. So let's go ahead and get started. If you like to hear about missing children case, well, if you're interested about hearing about missing children case and you may know something or know someone that has information about these cases, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so you could be notified every time I upload. So today we're going to be talking about a disappearance of Brianna Maitland. I hope I'm saying her last name, but let's go ahead and get started. So Brianna Alexander Maitland was born on October 8th of 1986, and she disappeared on March 19th in 2004. An American teenager who disappeared after leaving her job at the Black Ladder Inn in Morgan, Vermont. She was 17 years old at the time. Brianna's car was discovered in the following day backward into the side of an abandoned house about a mile away from her workplace. She has not been seen or heard from since due to the confluence of circumstances. Several days passed before Brianna's friends and family report her missing. And I think she has been the oldest missing case child I've talked about. It usually my other cases have been 10 or I think 5 or it's really, I don't think I've talked about a 17-year-old, so she's my first one. And I think I do have a few more that are 17, but I do not can recall right now. But yeah, she is my first 17-year-old. In the days and weeks following her disappearance, numerous tips were investigated by state law enforcement, including a claim that Brianna was being held captive in a house occupied by local drug dealers, of whom she was an acquaintance. However, none of these tips resulted. Of Brianna at the casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, brought renewed interest to the case, but the woman's scene was never properly identified. And in 2012, law enforcement investigated a possible connection between Brianna's disappearance and serial killer Israel Case, who committed numerous rapes and murders in Vermont, New York, and throughout the Pacific Northwest, but he was eliminated and ruled out as a suspect by the FBI. Brianna's case was in profile across various local media, in Dayline NBC, the documentary Disappearance in 2017. The case was discussed in the documentary series on missing college student Murray, who vanished a month prior to Brianna's in Woodland in New Hampshire, and Brianna's disappearance remains unsolved. Which I did hear about Murray's disappearance, but I've never heard about Brianna's disappearance until I was searching missing cases. So I hope I'm not the only one, but I've never heard of her case. So Brianna was born on October 8th of 1986 in Belton, Vermont, to Bruce and Kaylee. She was raised with her older brother and their parents' farm in East Franklin, Vermont, near the Canadian border. In her youth, she was extensively trained in jujitsu. Brianna attended Mesquite Valley Union High School before transferring to Innsbruck Falls High School in nearly Innsbruck Falls during her sophomore year. Brianna's 17th birthday was October 2003. She decided she wanted to move away from her parents' farm. Her mother, Kaylee, said that there were no serious stress at home, but that Brianna wanted more independence, which is understandable. I think once we get to that 17 or even 18 or even 16, we just want to be independent and to be closer to a group of friends who lived 15 miles away and attended a different high school. Brianna's enrolled at her friend's high school, but her living arrangements were unstable as she moved in and out of several friends' homes. By the end of February 2004, she dropped out of high school and moved in with her childhood friend Jillian Scott in Sheldon, Vermont, approximately 20 miles west of Morgan, to complete her education. Brianna enrolled in a GED program. 3 weeks prior to her disappearance, Brianna was physically attacked at a party by a female former friend of Kaylee. The motive for their attack was unclear. Throughout, Brianna's father, Bruce, later stated he believed it stemmed from jealousy over Brianna's interaction with a male peer at the party. One of Brianna's friends at the party claimed that Brianna, despite her martial arts training, refused to fight with lacrosse, who secretly hit her in the face several times while Brianna was sitting in the truck. The attraction resulted in Brianna suffering a broken nose and concussion. She later filed charges against lacrosse. The three complaint was successfully dropped 3 weeks after Brianna disappeared, and the police stated that lacrosse was cleared of any involvement in her disappearance. Never mind. On the morning of Friday of March 19, 2004, Brianna took an exam receiving her GED. After completing the test, she and her mother, Kaylee, had lunch to celebrate the occasion, and her father, Bruce, was out of state working in New York at the time. Her brother described her as being a good spirit and that Brianna had discussed plans of attending college. After lunch, Brianna and her mother spent the afternoon shopping and running errands while waiting on the check online of the store. Kaylee said something outside caught Brianna's attention. She told her mother she would return shortly and left the store. Kaylee completed her purchase and met Brianna in the parking lot, noticing that her daughter seemed unward, shaken, and giddy. She told her mother she needed to go home and prepare for her upcoming work shift at the Black Letter Inn, a restaurant in Montgomery. Not wanting to pray, Kaylee did not ask what happened and dropped Brianna off at store home between 3:30 to 4:08 p.m. This was the last time she saw her daughter. At some point before leaving for her work shift, Brianna left a note for Scott saying she would return after work that evening. Brianna then departed for the Black Letter Inn in a 1985 Oldsmobile Saturn registered to Kaylee. After completing her shift at work, Brianna clocked out and left the Black Letter Inn at approximately 11:20 p.m. She told her co-worker she needed to get home and rest before working the next day at her second job in St. Albans, but all accounts, Brianna was alone in her vehicle when she left. Early the next afternoon, on March 20, a Vermont State Police trooper was dispatched to Abundant House in Route 118 in Richard, about a mile from Black Letter Inn. Brianna's Oldsmobile was found back into the side of the house. Known local has told Duckburn House the sighting of a home that had been pricked by the rear end of the car. A piece of bloodwood that had been curving a window laid on the car's trunk. Two Brianna's paychecks were on the front seat of the car. Outside, a law enforcement observed loose change, a water bottle, and an unsmoked cigarette. The trooper assumed that the car had been abandoned by a drunk driver, and a towing company took the vehicle to a local garage. Brianna was not reported missing for a number of days. Her mother, Kelly, did not learn about the discovery of Brianna's car until 5 days afterward. Saul saw Brianna's note on Friday, March 19th, and spent the weekend away found the note undisturbed when she returned on Monday. Assuming Brianna was staying elsewhere, she did not call Kaylee until the following day, on Tuesday, March 23rd. Kaylee began calling various people in order to find Brianna, including friends as well as her employers, none of whom had seen or spoken to her. Following an effort and still unaware that the vehicle Brianna's had been driving had been recovered, she filed missing person report that day. On Tuesday, March 25th, Brianna's parents gave photo of her to the Vermont police in St. Albans. A trooper showed them a picture of the old Oldsmobile found at the old Duckburn House, upon which they immediately identified the car as their daughter's. Kaylee said in the interview she was instinctively reversed by a photo and believed someone else, not Brianna, had left the car in such a way. After Brianna's report disappeared, several individuals came forward to law enforcement to report sighting of Brianna's vehicle at the old Duck House the night she disappeared. A man who drove by the house between 11:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. on March 19th and 20th said the car headlights may have been on. He said he did not see anyone in or around the car. A second man who drove by between midnight and 12:30 a.m. on Saturday, March 20, recalled seeing a turn signal flashing in the car. Around 4 a.m. on Saturday, March 20, a former boyfriend of Brianna drove past the scene after a night of partying across the border in Canada. He thought he recognized the vehicle but did not see anyone in or around it. The next morning, someone passing in motorists found the scene odd enough that they stopped and took a picture of it. One of the photographers reports someone loose change at a water bottle and a bracelet or necklace in the ground next to the car. You didn't think about calling 911, sir? No? Okay, just asking. The Vermont State Police, who led the official investigation for the first months after Brianna's disappearance, were skeptical that foul play was involved, considering the possibility that Brianna was a runaway. Their surrounding the old Duck Burn house was combed on foot by police, search dog, but nothing was found. Brianna's vehicle was proceeded by the State Criminal Laboratory for evidence on March 30 in 2004, after the car had been impounded in a local garage for several days. Upon the car's return to the Maitland family, Bruce noted that his daughter's ATM card glasses, contact lens case, and migraine medication had been left inside. It was later concluded by law enforcement that foul play was the probable cause of Maitland's disappearance, and in 2007, flyer provided by the FBI state that the scene of which Marilyn's car was discovered may have been staged to appear as an accident. Maitland's parents publicly speculate that she may have been abducted by multiple people, stating that it would have been difficult for a single assailant to subdue her given her jiu-jitsu training. The disappearance of Marie Moore, a college student from Massachusetts in northwest New Hampshire, the month before was deemed unrelated to Maitland's disappearance by law enforcement. In spite of the events occurring within 90 miles of each other, in 2004, Maitland's family organized a website now Dunkirk titled Bringing Home Org was posted minimum reward of $20,000 for information leading to her whereabouts. The website was active until at least 2009, and according to a March 2017 article published in the Billerton Free Press, the reward remained available in June of 2017. However, it was reported that the reward was due to expire in July of that year. In the week following Maitland's disappearance, the Vermont State Police received an anonymous tip claiming that she was being held against her will in a house in nearby Bakershire, Vermont, in 10 miles from the Montgomery, the rent house that occupied by Rommel L. Raines and Nathaniel Charles Jackson, two known drug dealers from New York, was raided by police on April 15, 2004. Various drug paraphernalia was discovered inside, as well as substantial amounts of cocaine and marijuana, but no sign of Maitland was found. You're dumb idiots. Y'all just got yourself in trouble for drugs because y'all just wanted to, scam the cops, I guess. Ryan was arrested during the raid for drug charges. Upon interviewing Maitland's close friend, law enforcement was informed that Maitland had legally experienced with hard drugs in the recent past, specifically crack cocaine, and was an acquaintance of Ryan's and Jackson. In late 2004, police received a statement from an announcement older female who implicated both Ryan Jackson and Maitland's disappearance and alleged murder. The significant affidavit contained allegations written in the graphic details that Maitland had been murdered in approximately a week after her disappearance. The woman who provided the affidavit claimed that Ryan's murdered Maitland during an argument over money she had lent him to purchase crack, and that her body had been temporarily stored in the basement of a recently desecrated local woman's home. Maitland's body was then alleged dismembered with a table saw and disposed of in a pig farm. Law enforcement was unable to corroborate the claims in the letter. The Maitland family additional report that they had received several incorporated anonymous phone calls from people claiming Maitland was tied to a tree in the woods and that she had been disposed of at the bottom of lake. How a sick of a person do you have to be to sit there and call a family who is suffering because their daughter is missing for you to come and call them and come up with the most sickening story that you could come up in your mind? Is it that you're bored or that you're a sick person? Which one is it? And I'm just going to go with you're a sick person, because you have to be a sick person for you to think that it's okay to call a mother who is suffering, who wants to know what happened to her daughter, and for you to sit there and think that it's okay to call this mother and tell her, oh, your daughter was in a tree and then somebody killed her. Like, why would you do that? You don't know what this mom is going through. And until you don't, God forbid something happens to a family member and you have to go through the same thing, and then you have to have some sick person call you and tell you the same thing about your loved one. That is not okay. And I need this to be stopped, because this is not the first time I've heard it, and I've heard it so many times. And not even with missing kids too. It's been with adults that have been murdered, and you hear people calling their family, just taunting them, and that is the sickest thing that a person could do. That is just sick, and you're a sick human if you do that. In 2006, security footage of the Caesars Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, showed a woman resemble Maitland's setting at a poker table. The woman was never properly defined. And in 2012, law enforcement investigated a potential connection between Maitland's disappearance and a serial killer, Israel Keys, who committed numerous rapes and murder in Alaska, Oregon, and Washington, as well as in Vermont and New York, where he owned property in Constable. The FBI ruled out Keys' potentially connection to Maitland's disappearance in late December 2012, shortly after Keys committed suicide in Oregon, Alaska. And in March of 2016, the case 12th anniversary investigation revealed that a local television station they had recovered a DNA sample from Maitland's car. The results of the DNA tests were not made public, and in July 2016, the farmhouse Wood Maitland vehicle was discovered was destroyed on a fire. If that is not a red flag, I don't know what is, but whoever destroyed that house must have been involved in her disappearance. Because why would you just destroy the house for no reason? And that's just my opinion. And in March 2022, the Vermont State Police revealed that they have found a match to the DNA sample found in Maitland's car. The identity of the person has not been released, although officially did say it belonged to one of 11 people they tested previously in connection to Maitland's case, and the person had been very cooperative and spoken to us. And in Maitland's case have been profiled by Daylight NBC on the investigation Discovery, documenting Siri's disappearance in December 2011. Maitland's disappearance was also mentioned in an episode of 2020, and in 2016 her case was profiled on the podcast The Vanish, and in 2017 her case was profiled in an episode of the documentary series Disappearing of Maury on the Oxygen Network, and in 2023 a book about her disappearance was published by a private investigator who has worked with the Maitland family. So that is the sad story of this beautiful 17-year-old who went missing. I really think this is my two different thoughts of what I think may have happened to her. I think it had to be someone from the party. It may have not been that girl that she got in a fight with, but it had to probably be somebody else from the party. Somebody that probably had a problem with her as well. Or it could have been those two drug dealers. If she did do drugs herself, don't judge. Y'all don't judge. Y'all don't judge. Y'all don't judge. She was 17. We've been 17. We've done crazy things when we were teenagers because we thought we knew better. But I'm mostly going towards the theory of those two drug dealers having something to do with it more than someone at the party. Because yeah, they spoke to the girl that she got in a fight with, and they did say she had nothing to do with it. They have proved that she had nothing to do with it. Could it have been somebody else from the party? Maybe. Did they speak to other people in the party? They didn't say. But my theory is going towards those two drug dealers. She probably owed them money, or she let them borrow money. I'm just gonna put this in a side note. If you do drugs and you don't have money to do drugs, that's God telling you to stop doing drugs. That's just my opinion. That is God telling you, hey, you need to stop. That's why you broke. And that's why I'm not blessing you with money. But that's just my opinion. But like I was saying, I think my theory is towards them. They know something. They know more what they were saying. I don't know if they ever found the women that wrote the letter. So I don't know, was she a real person, or was this just another joke to throw cops out of track? It could be. It's happened before, and it's always gonna happen. But I think that my theory is it had to be those two. I mean, she was with her mom. Her mom said something happened, that something caught her eyes. It could have been them. You never know. I don't know if there were cameras. That's a good question that I kind of want to know. Was there cameras in the mall? Like, did y'all check any cameras? Because her mom did say that they were shopping. She looked out. While they were online. She looked outside. Something caught her eyes, and she told her mom, I will be back." But she didn't come back to her mom. She waited for her mom by her mom's car. So did y'all check the cameras? That's what I want to know. Did y'all check the cameras? Was there? I know that. I mean, it was 2014. I mean, 4. There had to be cameras. So I wonder if they checked the cameras at the mall to see who she was talking to. I hope they did, but they didn't mention it. So now that I think about it, I hope they did. But I will see y'all guys with the new case very, very soon. I hope you have a good day, and I hope y'all enjoy and stay warm, because I am in Houston and it's cold. And yeah, so bye guys.